He wasn't just building an operating system, he was building a temple. Terry A. Davis was a man out of time, a computer savant, a devout believer, and a deeply troubled soul who wrote code as if it were scripture. In an age of billion-dollar tech teams and open-source giants, one man locked himself in a room and built everything. From the ground up, every line of code, every compiler, every driver, alone. And he claimed God told him to do it. This is not a story about technology. It's a story about genius, madness, and the line so thin it's almost invisible. In the late 90s, Terry was already making waves. A brilliant computer engineer with a degree from Arizona State, he had worked on cutting-edge systems at Ticketmaster. But something was wrong. Deeply wrong. In his early 30s, Terry was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He began speaking about voices, surveillance, and divine missions. His mind, the same one that could bend low-level assembly code like clay, was turning against him. But it didn't break him. It redirected him. At 10 a.m. on a summer day in 2003, Terry sat at his computer and began what he believed was his life's true purpose. God, he said, had commanded him to build a new temple, a modern-day Ark of the Covenant, not of stone, but of code. And so he began writing what would become TempleOS. It wasn't just an operating system, it was his holy mission. 640 by 480 resolution, 16 colors, no internet. Why? Because Terry believed that's what God wanted. The specs, he said, were divinely ordained, the same as the Commodore 64, the language of the ancients. It sounds like a relic, but what Terry built defies belief. TempleOS was coded entirely by him. No libraries, no external code, a custom language, HolyC, that he invented. He built the compiler, the kernel, the graphics engine, the shell, the file system, line by line for over a decade. There are entire universities where students graduate never even seeing an operating system source code. Terry wrote one, alone. But the price of this divine vision was steep. In the outside world, Terry was falling apart. He lived with his parents. His mental health declined. He became increasingly paranoid, convinced that the CIA was monitoring him, that demons were inside the internet, and that God was giving him messages through the random number generator in TempleOS. Yes, you could literally ask TempleOS a question, and it would spit out a Bible-like answer. Terry believed this was God speaking through the machine, divine inspiration, prophecy, and yet, beneath the madness, was logic, discipline, brilliance. On YouTube, the world began to notice. Terry's channel exploded, first in obscure programming forums, then on Reddit, then for Sean. He uploaded hundreds of videos, coding sessions, rants, scripture, raw footage of a mind oscillating between moments of transcendent clarity and absolute chaos. In one clip, he outlines the structure of a compiler in perfect detail. In the next, he's screaming at phantoms. He used slurs, he insulted strangers, and still people watched. He wasn't trolling, he wasn't performing. This was Terry. Some saw a prophet, others saw a madman. But what no one could ignore was the work. Programmers would download TempleOS expecting a joke. What they found was an impossibly elegant, bare metal operating system that booted instantly, ran like a dream, and revealed the fingerprints of someone who understood computers at a primal level. It was hauntingly beautiful. A throwback to a time when one person could understand the whole machine. Terry didn't believe in abstraction. He believed in truth. He believed God had chosen him and that he was speaking through code. But brilliance is no shield against the world. By 2016, Terry was homeless. His parents could no longer care for him. He drifted from city to city, sleeping outside, ranting in libraries, still writing code, still clutching his laptop like a sacred book. TempleOS was complete, but the prophet had nowhere left to go. And then, one quiet morning in August 2018, it ended. Terry A. Davis was struck by a train in the Dalles, Oregon. Authorities called it an accident. Some said it was suicide. Others said he was simply walking the tracks, lost in a conversation with someone no one else could hear. Today, his operating system still lives online, preserved on GitHub, dissected in programming forums, whispered about in digital halls like a cursed relic. TempleOS is not practical, it's not usable, but it shouldn't be. It's a monument, a warning, a miracle, a prayer typed in assembly. Terry didn't just build an OS, he built the digital equivalent of the Sistine Chapel. One man, no team, no funding, no sanity, just faith. Faith in machines, faith in God, faith in himself. Was he a prophet, a genius, a victim? No one agrees. But in the history of computing, there is only one Terry A. Davis, and there will never be another.